Fantastic. I have 100 questions, but time is marching. Let's talk trade. Let's talk the trade agreement. I'm not going to try and get you on specifics or prejudice your negotiating positions, unless you want me to. But what I would like to ask you both, gentlemen, is from your respective positions, what are the significant benefits you see for your nation? What's the value proposition for your people from concluding a trade agreement? In your case, Minister, with New Zealand, yours with India, Mr. Macleay.
Thank you, Simon. That's a very fair comment. In the first place, and just before I came here, I was sitting with the delegation from India. And by the way, this is the largest delegation ever to come to New Zealand, or possibly even this part of the world. 43 business persons have come in with me. And I was sharing with them that one should always be in an exploratory mode for new opportunities, new territories, new partners, new friends. And one of the important elements of a free trade agreement is a signal to the world that the friendship between two nations is strong. There's a strong element of trust. There will be certainty and predictability in policy. And there will be, particularly between two democracies like New Zealand and India, the rule of law, which will always help and guide businesses to grow together. I think New Zealand offers a number of opportunities for our business persons, offers technologies in the agri field which would be of great value for our farmers back home. Also, we recognize that going forward, if India is to become a developed nation, and today there's a wide disparity between the two nations, not only in size, also in terms of income levels of people. As we desire our economy to grow, our people to have a better quality of life, a better future for their children, I think friendship and trade and partnership with countries like New Zealand will help our people aspire big, will help our people meet the needs of New Zealand, as well as provide opportunities for our people in terms of business, jobs, capability to learn about better and higher productivity farming back home in India. So we've been trying to, in this trade negotiation, go beyond the traditional tariff negotiations or reduction in tariff to newer ways to expand this relationship.
Fantastic. And Minister, I'll get you the answer to the same question, but, Minister Goyal said he likes it spicy. Let's make it a bit spicy here. I mean, less than 2% of our exports last year were to India. How do we improve upon that? Are we going to see something that's commercially meaningful for both sides?
Well, the answer is it must be commercially meaningful for both sides, and it will be, because there's this huge opportunity there. I agree with Piyush. The areas that we can cooperate in, before you come to tariffs and trade and so on, is actually how we grow that two-way trade. For New Zealand, when we were in opposition, we decided that our relationship with India would be a strategic priority for a government led by Christopher Luxon, and we reached out to the New Zealand Indian community and decided to hold a small summit, and it was actually many hundreds and hundreds of people came along to talk about the things that were important to the Indian New Zealand community, business community, but just broadly, widely the community. And so actually in getting to government, we have lent into that to deliver upon that commitment we made before the election across the board. And we've seen agreements already, as well as, many other things happening. And we've found ways for India and New Zealand to work more closely together in defence and security, around aviation, those people-to-people links. I want more young New Zealanders to go to India to learn and to be involved in education. And we want more young Indians to come here to get their education, to get some experience of the world and take it back to help India grow. We want a lot more direct foreign investment in New Zealand, but we also want New Zealanders to go and partner and invest in India. Piyush, you're going to meet people during the course of the next couple of days. Indian New Zealanders are already going to India to invest in manufacturing there, to bring products to New Zealand rather than just manufacturing here to send up. And so there'll be many, many opportunities there. But Simon, the most important thing I think our Prime Minister said in front of the India and New Zealand Business Council a short while ago, the way that we deliver the opportunity is you don't leave it to governments alone. It is you, the business community, and the people of New Zealand and India that will take it to the next level. Our job is to get something that gives you the framework to build upon, and we're working very, very hard at that, and we've committed to getting it done and not giving up until it's done properly, which means you don't have to rush. But guess what? We're not going to take too much time either. But then we have to empower the business community, the people of New Zealand and India to come together, and we have to get those direct flights between India and New Zealand. And the rest will look after itself.
Fantastic.
May I just add one? He's raised a very, very important point, which I'd like to elaborate a little more for everybody's consideration. Honourable Minister Todd spoke about New Zealand children coming and spending some time in India. Now, remember, the growth opportunities of the future are going to be in countries in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America. These are the areas where there's a more youthful population, where there's need and desire. Desire everybody has, but the need to grow is so much that there's fire in the belly of those youngsters there. But they don't get, or did not over the years get, the same opportunities that many of you got. But if you have to grow your economy, you will have to work in collaboration with these regions. And living in, let's say, a country like India, somebody from New Zealand does a dual degree between a college in India and a college in New Zealand. And during the course of that, he spends 6 months or a year in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Pune, in Bangalore. He will get a feel of the culture. He will see the palpable excitement in the air. He will see the areas that these countries require. He will understand what could be opportunities. After all, if he spends 6 months or a year, he'll be going around the place. His mind is sharp. He'll be able to observe the opportunities. And that will grow business. That will grow the people-to-people relationship. That will open the eyes of our Indian young men and women when they interact with a New Zealander there to possibly tourism. I mean, look at what wonderful work you've done on coastal tourism. I came all the way from India for that. To, where was that, Queenstown? By the way, I also went as far deep as Dunedin.
Well, look, I'm sorry. I mean, it's no. We fully agree. You made some great points. I think, we have a sense now that, your top education institutions are amongst the best in the world, in fact. And I just want to acknowledge some good points you've made there. I liked what our MC said. You were asked and you got a good laugh. You're most important, you said, the New Zealand EU FTA. I sadly find that a little hard to believe, but what I do want to ask you is, we're so small. Is there nevertheless, putting the trade aspect to one side, is there a strategic, is there a geopolitical aspect to this trade deal for you as Indians?
Well, we both got independence in the same year, 1947. We're both vibrant democracies. In fact, we also share the legacy of having come out of British rule and have been developing our economies. Of course, my constituency, just the one constituency that I represent out of 543 in India, has 60% of the population that you have over here. So there is huge difference in size and scale. But there's a huge convergence in thinking and commitment to democracy, commitment to the principles of brotherhood, commitment to sustainability. So in that sense, this is a relationship which has tremendous potential. Leave aside the size. Collectively, we are big. Right? The important thing is intent. The important thing is whether the small population of New Zealand can benefit from the large market in India. Simultaneously, whether the large set of people in India can benefit from some of the innovations that you have done in New Zealand, some of the new practices that you are following in New Zealand. And just imagine, suppose you have a smart way of doing your kiwi farming. Now here, you probably have very large farms, you're able to get very high productivity. Whereas in India, we would have very small farms. An average farm in India is 2 acres, 1.5 acres. Most would be even less smaller than that. In that situation, if some of your technologies from here were to come to India and help our orange growers with some similarity in the citrus fruit, you could actually contribute to something which is very human also. The small farmers, small incomes, very almost sustainable level of sustainable incomes, barely sustaining their lifestyle. Sustenance farming is what you'll see in India, not commercial farming. Now, these technologies there can play a significant role. So it's not just about trade or immediate import-export. It's about also what you will be adding to human development over there. Similarly, you are an important maritime nation. India also has a huge coastline, may not be as big as yours probably, but there could be synergies in that cooperation and partnership. India is trying to develop a lot in the aerospace and defense sectors where we could work together with New Zealand. So I think there's a serious intent to expand the scope of our partnership from this small, what you were talking of, only 2% of your total exports go to New Zealand. It would be the same on the other side also. So I was also looking at my figures. Probably you are the 80th or 79th trading partner. But that didn't deter me from looking at you as an important trading partner. Also because it's so small, the delta of opportunity becomes large. If we look at it from that perspective, probably the growth we can achieve together, both sides, can also be large, because the small base gives us an opportunity to grow manifold. So I think, and I must say, of course, the two leaders, Honorable Prime Minister Lakshman and Prime Minister Modi, really went on, got together and became very close. And he's a very, very informal young Prime Minister. And I think I see tremendous potential also in the geopolitical partnership that is sought to be built between New Zealand and India.